Thanks for staying tuned to your African Independent Television and welcome to your program Security Watch Africa. Only on this channel we bring you that information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Welcome to your program today. My name still remains Patrick Abambo. Like you always know, we make sure we bring that needed information you need to keep your life safe and secured. Welcome to the program today. This is a reminder that coronavirus is still with us. Please always put on your face mask and ensure that you are protected. Adhere to all laid-down protocols for safety, and that is the only way out. But more importantly, get vaccinated. Like I said, I've told you, I have taken all my doses, first, second, and the booster dose of the vaccination, and it's very, very important. It's safe for you to do that. So please endeavor to do that so that we can all be free once again. This is not some people say new normal, but we want to return back to our world where we are free to do what we want to do without inhibition, but only when you get vaccinated. When a large number of persons get vaccinated, then we can return back to normal. Welcome to the program again. Today I have a very important guest, a friend, a brother, somebody who is close to me, and he will be looking at the issue which is paramount, the number one security in Nigeria, which is the Nigeria Police Force. Will be taking a look at how it has fared for the last few years, particularly in 2021. But that will be after this report from the Nigerian Army. Like you know, we had an interview with the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, who told us a lot of issues, but one particularly is that the Nigerian Army is for Nigerians, and so Nigerians should embrace the Nigerian Army in all its operations. Sit back as we bring you this report by Shuli Daniels.
That the Nigerian Army is an army by Nigerians and for Nigerians is a fact that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, stressed in an exclusive interview with Security Watch Africa in his office. The Army Chief added that Nigerians need to support the Nigerian Army in all its operations.
I always say this is Nigerian Army. This is the army for Nigerians. The personnel of the army are Nigerians serving Nigerian people. So whatever we can do to enhance our relationship, to enhance the well-being of our people in our own way also we do.
On why the Nigerian Army is deploying so much human and capital resources to carry out civil military intervention projects, General Yahaya revealed that it is part of the Nigerian Army non-kinetic operations and corporate social responsibility, CSR.
We have now a whole department in the Army, Department of Civil Military Affairs, recognizing the essence of cordial relationship between the Nigerian Army and the people itself, whose tax money is being used to run the army. We are accountable and responsible. So whatever we can do also to improve where we can within the limited resources that we can avail to that, we can always do. If we improve the well-being of the people, of the host community, it's part of our job. It's part of a non-kinetic activities of the army. Where we stay, we also have what others call corporate social responsibility that we also do to Nigerian people. What is very important every time is that this is Nigerian Army, made up of Nigerians serving for the purpose of protecting Nigeria and Nigerians. So we are from here, and whatever we can do to improve the well-being of Nigerians in the process of doing our job, I think is also commendable. So we'll continue to do that and now improve our relationship and also effort to win hearts and minds so that now well-meaning Nigerians can feel free to provide relevant information that can help to assist in the conduct of our job, particularly the one we are doing in aid of civil authority that is within the populace. We need information, we need intelligence from people, we need cooperation. Now, when you relate well with people, they will be willing to give you this information and not relate well with you. And that's why one of the areas, one of the essence, if you will, of Civil Military Affairs Department.
In the last few years, the Nigerian Army has vigorously executed many life-saving community projects which has brought some succor to their host communities. Shuli Daniels, reporting for Security Watch Africa, Abuja.
Welcome back. Yes, like you heard, the Nigerian Army is trying all its best to ensure that Nigeria territorial integrity is protected and assist the lead agency, which is the Nigeria Police Force, in internal security. And talking about the Nigeria Police Force, I have a lot of people calling different things, spokesman, parrot, so many things, but I know is the image manager of the Nigeria Police Force, talking about Commissioner of Police, Frank Mba, the first public relations officer. It's a pleasure to have you in the studio today.
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah. It's always a pleasure being here.
Yeah. We'll try as much as possible to manage the time to see how far we can go, but there are so many issues to talk about. But first of all, let me start from this. I thought you are no longer the first public relations officer because they said you are angry and tell us what is the situation before we start.
You know, the social media is a fantastic space to be in, but you get all stuffs there, and it's not all the time. Even for those of us who are spokespersons, it's not all the time you respond to everything that you find flying around in the social media. I've read stories. Frank Mba steps down as the first spokesperson. Frank Mba defies the IG, refuses to step down. Frank Mba does this, Frank Mba does that. The ultimate thing, the reason why we chose not to respond and decided to adopt a bunker mentality and allow everything to just fly past is the fact that, well, there's a strand of truth there. The strand of truth there is the fact that I am scheduled to go on course, and that's something I've prayed for, and that's something every police officer wearing the rank I'm wearing and who wants to improve his capacity to serve and to deliver on his mandate will love to do. I've been scheduled to go on course at the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies in Kuru, near Jos, and that's for me a very prestigious one. I'm very, 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 very happy, and I am quite appreciative to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Akali Baba, for giving me such a wonderful privilege to be on such a course. So I'm glad that I've been nominated. I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to going, and I will be leaving soon for that course. Probably in the next 2 weeks, I should finally leave the office, and I'm leaving for good.
That is good, and we are wishing you so much. We know you are prepared for it. We know you are eager to go, so which is a good thing. But you, first of all, before we even leave you and go to the topic, which is extraying Nigeria Police Force under IGP Usman Alkali Baba, let me find out. You've somehow set a record, even without you knowing. Maybe the grace of God is with you, because from 2012, when you became the first public relation, you took a break a bit, you returned back, you have served 3 Inspector General of Police. How has it been helping to manage the image of the police in this, under 3 different Inspector Generals of Police?
Well, like you said, it's just divine. I mean, I don't think I am the best. I'm not the most educated police officer, certainly not. I don't even have the best accent. I don't think I am a better manager of crisis than a whole lot of other police officers, my contemporaries, my superiors, and even some of my subordinates. But I thank God I've just, in His grace, chosen to give me the opportunity to serve these very distinguished police leaders. And it's been a very challenging job working as the spokesperson and image manager of the Nigerian Police Force. It's such a huge force with a population of over 370,000, getting close
Almost
to
400,000.
400,000, with jurisdiction covering the entire length and breadth of Nigeria, with a mandate that's a very diversified portfolio, a very diversified mandate, and with personnel drawn from different backgrounds, each of them coming with their own DNA, and then the good, the bad, the ugly, things happening in the country, and having to deal with these things almost simultaneously. So it's been very taxing, but it has also been it's a very good place for you to be groomed for leadership. You learn a lot. You are constantly also being mentored, not just by the IGs, but also by members of the management team that you work closely with. You find yourself working closely with your DIGs, the AIGs, the commissioners of police, the principal staff officer to the IG, and of course your subordinates, and then the media, and then the whole lot of members of the NGOs, the CSOs, those that are criticizing you constructively, and those that just derive a lot of pleasure in throwing stones at you. Fine. You learn from everybody. You learn from the critics, you learn from your admirers, you learn from your bosses, but the stress level is actually very high. Adrenaline constantly popping, and that's why it's such a beautiful thing that after 3 years on a stretch, and I'm nominated to go to NIPS, I can't just wait to go to Jos.
The beautiful city, Jos. Okay, now let's come, because these three IGs you worked on had different styles, different means. Some are very upbeat, some are very quiet, so many you have to manage issue. But looking at 2021, there were a carryover of 2020, the issue about NSAS, and 2021, then a new IG talking about IGP Usman Alkali Baba. Now, let's talk about him. How has he been able to carry out managing the carryovers of the issues that came up?
At the risk of sounding immodest, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, the 21st Indigenous Inspector General of Police, has actually done fantastically well. He assumed the leadership of the force at a very difficult and trying times. Apart from the challenges that has to do with terrorism and banditry, kidnapping, and other very violent crimes taking place around the country, farmers-herders clashes, and such other problems. He came at a time where the morale of our personnel were low, which was a huge fallout of the NSAS protests. Apart from the issues that has to do with morale, we also had challenges in the southeast part of the country. His coming into power coincided with the peak of those attacks in the southeast part of the country, where there were deliberate, well-orchestrated, organized, targeted attacks at symbols of government. And of course, the police being the most ubiquitous face of governance, was a major target for these attacks. And the correctional centers, military personnel, and assets were constantly under attack. INEC offices and the rest of similar facilities symbolizing our sovereignty, our democracy, our collective national symbols were being attacked. So he came on board, and then he had to confront those things headlong. The first thing IGP Usman Alkali did was to launch a special operation codenamed Operation Restore Peace in the southeastern part of the country, and of course the south part of the country. Within a short time, that began to yield very positive results. The end result is that today, the southeast and the southwestern part of the country and the southern part of the country, those two regions are beginning to enjoy a very significant amount of stability. I can actually say we've been able to stabilize those areas. Of course, you still have.
I want to come back because you just touched about stabilizing the areas in the south and southeast. I want to come back to you after this brief short break. Welcome back. You're sorry I called for a short break there to take a breather, but let me find out, you talked about stabilizing, but some people will tell you that it seems that northwest and the Abuja-Kaduna Express Road is still unresolved. People are still being threatened.
Again, if you look at the situation on in the Abuja-Kaduna Highway, if you look at the situation there today, compare that situation to what it was 2-3 years ago. I mean, you'll be very uncharitable and unfair to say the situation has remained the same. We've been able to stabilize things on that road as well. But of course, you can't rule out occasional criminal incursions. What you have in those roads are what look more like scatterto attacks that just come in suddenly, and not the regular sustained attack on those roads that made it impossible for commuters to use those roads. And let me tell you what will shock you. The Inspector General of Police is personally leading patrols on those roads. And during the festive period, the Christmas period, in fact, I felt a sense of guilt because the IG granted me permission to travel to Lagos to go and deal with some personal issues. And then I was constantly reading the street rep and getting the visuals from our IT people when the IG was leading patrols on that road. I felt guilty that I was not on his convoy. And the IG has now set that tone. So the DIG operations, DIG Zaki Ahmed, also is doing same. So you find out that the IG, the DIGs, they are constantly carrying out supervisory patrols on that road. So the men on duty in that axis have got no choice. If the IG can come out on 20th, on 24th, on 23rd, on 25th to conduct patrol on those roads himself, I wonder who else will not want to be on his toes while walking on that road. So I think we have done well. We've been able to neutralize a lot of the bandits and the criminals who are actually making life unbearable for people on that road. In all, I'm not saying we've gotten to the promised land. Right. We've not gotten to the promised land, but we are way out of the wilderness. We will certainly get to the promised land.
Yeah, okay. So still talking about the promised land. Many Nigerians, particularly the youth, want Nigeria police to stop harassing them. And they feel that some years the clamor for NSAS came and SARS has been disbanded, a new SWAT team was set up, and this IGP inherited that, the special forces and all that. Give us a report card of how far is it going. Some had also said that maybe since SARS stopped, we had upbeats in criminal activities. How do we marry this?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I don't anticipate that we'll have a police force either in Nigeria, in Canada, in New York, in London, in Russia, or any other part of the world where you will police the citizens from January to December, or from 1st of January to 30th of January with complete zero incident of police misconduct. It is impossible because these police officers are human beings. And like I said earlier, they come with different DNAs. And no matter the training, no matter the lecturing, no matter what you do, you will occasionally find one person misbehaving. Even Christ, with all his divine characteristics, selected 12 apostles, and you had one who messed up. And so, but the most important thing is what happens when a police officer misbehaves. Does the system condone that? Does the system come after? Do we have an internal mechanism that traces, tracks, and holds such persons accountable and brings such person to book? Within this week, we had a viral video of a police officer somewhere on Lagos-Benin Expressway misbehaving, violently assaulting a young lady, and then in the most unprofessional manner, cocking his rifle. When we saw that viral video, we went after him. We tracked, traced, identified, and arrested that officer. As I speak to you, he's in our custody. We have reached out to the public for witnesses to come forth, because we will be subjecting him to internal trials, and at the end of the day, he will be awarded the highest punishment. If depending on what we find out in the course of our investigation, he might be reduced in rank, he might be outrightly dismissed, and he might even be made to face prosecution, depending on the gravity of the offense he has committed and depending on the extenuating circumstances, if any. And so, the message I have for Nigerian youths is the fact that we are building a police force that will be public-friendly, people-friendly. A police force, and that's one of the central goals of the Inspector General of Police, to bequeath to Nigerians at the end of his tenure, a police force that will be people-oriented, a police force that will be rule of law compliant, a police force that will have the capacity to do internal cleansing when the need arises, a police force that will police itself and hold its officers and men accountable for their deeds, whether good or bad.
Okay. Yeah, on that note, sadly, we're getting signal we must sign off for other programs to continue. But that will be what I would call part one of this interaction with our guest, my brother, my friend, talking about CP Frank Mbah. I know we are going to continue with this interaction for the second part of it. But if you have enjoyed watching this program, it's our pleasure presenting it. Bye for now.